Deeble.
Otherwise, the microphone stand is taller than I am. Isn't that amazing? I used to work at one of those men's big and tall clothing stores. Why is that funny? My job was to make men feel big and tall, for crying out loud. I always hate when tall guys flaunt their height by like standing and stuff like that. Not easy to find clothes when you're my size either. You know? I went shopping for a new pair of jeans today in Phoenix. You know there's not one baby gap in all of Phoenix? A lot of indignities you have to put up with when you're my size. Sit down for a haircut, the barber pumps that footstool for 5 minutes. I went jogging this morning. This chihuahua sized me up and decided it could take me. One time a stripper invited me to sit on her lap. What's that all about? One year, the Kentucky Derby was really on the newspapers. I was flying to Louisville to see the Kentucky Derby. I get on the plane to Kentucky, and the flight attendant says, "Are you a jockey?" That's what my friends say. They say, "Dave, at your size, you should be a jockey, or one of those guys who builds the ship inside the bottle or something." If I seem a little tired, it's because last night my hair was so perfect I couldn't bring myself to go to bed. Thank you. My agent, ladies and gentlemen, right here. Oh, yeah, so getting on the plane, they tried to confiscate my hair gel at airport security because I had 6 ounces of it in my carry-on bag. I let them take it, they just put it in my hair, where apparently it's legal. Is that the screwiest regulation in the history of the world? 6 ounces of hair gel in your carry-on bag, they think you could be a terrorist. Oh, but 20 ounces in your hair, well then welcome aboard. Guess they're worried I'll shellac my hair to such a fine point it becomes a weapon or something. I was getting patted down at LAX recently, and the guy says when I reach sensitive parts of your body, I'll use the back of my hand. You talk about disappointment. Flying is so uncomfortable now. I was on a flight recently where the seats reclined into an upright position. So I could choose between this or this. So risk averse on the plane. Even the peanut bags have a warning on them that say these peanuts were processed in a facility that produces nuts. People have no sense of humor when they're boarding the plane. Everybody wants to get settled into their seats as quickly as possible. I'll give you an idea what I'm talking about. I was getting on the plane, and I very politely approached the guy in the seat behind me and asked him if he would mind swapping seats with me so that his wife and I could sit together. No sense of humor. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm married. I have to say that getting married is the best decision I ever made. Never forget putting on that wedding ring for the very first time and thinking, I am someone else's problem now. I got married old school to a woman, and careful now. Ooh. But my wife is from Germany. Now, we were told that if my wife only speaks German to the kids, and I only speak to them in English, the kids will eventually learn both languages fluently, which is the way it's worked for our daughters, but our son is now 16 years old and speaks only Dutch. Dutch is fun. It's like German after 9 too many Heinekens or something. Actually, all the kids are bilingual. They speak English and German very well. But having bilingual kids really makes you appreciate what an exasperating language English must be to learn. For example, every day I'll have the same exact conversation with my son and say, "Dad, look what I did do." And I have to explain to Luke, in English, you never say, "Look what I did do." It's just, "Look what I did." And he dutifully replies, "Look what I did." And I say, "Very good. Now, what did you do?" He's a very smart kid, very bright, Luke. For example, a couple of weeks ago, he and I sat down, and he was helping me with his homework. And then there's the baby, Lucy. This kid has not slept once in her entire life. Isn't it amazing how you can love a kid before it's even born, but not afterwards? I sometimes wonder if all teenagers rebel regardless of the culture they grow up in. For example, I always imagine some kid growing up in the deep, dark jungles of, say, I don't know, Brazil. One day he comes home and decides he's no longer going to wear that bone in his nose anymore. Do his parents give him the speech? As long as you're living under our roof, you're going to wear a bone in your nose. Now take off that ridiculous suit and tie and strap a leaf between your legs. You look ridiculous. Needless to say, as a comedian married to a German, I sometimes have to go outside the marriage for laughs. Let's face it, there's two things Germans never joke about: Hitler and everything else. I do like to run new material past my wife from time to time, though, and if she doesn't laugh, I put it in the show. My wife speaks excellent English. She does make small mistakes from time to time. For example, we were at a party recently, and somebody made an inadvertent pun. Then they said, "No pun intended," and my wife replied, "None taken." This morning I overslept a bit, and I'm shuffling into the kitchen, wiping sleep from my eye, and my wife starts giving me this nasty look because I'm making myself coffee, even though the kids are still waiting for me to make them breakfast. And I explained to my wife that just as on the airplane, you first affix your own oxygen mask. You have to meet me halfway on some of these jokes, folks. I'm sorry. Sometimes she'll see me observing other women and accuse me of comparing her to them, which is ridiculous, because when I see other women, my wife is the last thing on my mind. We argue about money on a regular basis. For example, she thinks we can afford a pool boy of all things, but I'm worried if I cave on that, we're going to end up having to get a pool as well. I think of the male and female headphones as being, it's like a pair of headphones. You know, male headphones are broadcasting something very different from female headphones. I mean, man puts on female headphones for the first time in his life, He's exposed to a non-stop barrage of worries, thoughts, concerns, plans, emotions. Rips them off after 5 seconds. Woman puts on male headphones and she realizes that they're noise canceling. For the first time in her life, she's like, I'm from Los Angeles. I did live in San Francisco for a year, where I was not only president of the Bay Area Republicans Club, but I was also the member. Politics is my hobby, but I'm sick of this culture war. You got, Republicans don't want their sons marrying Democrats. Democrats don't want their sons marrying women. It's just ridiculous. So a lot of traveling with this job, which I enjoy. I like reading about places that I'm traveling to. I find that really enhances the whole travel experience. For example, I was on a cruise ship in Greece recently, and in Greece I was reading a fascinating book about Facetious, the Greek goddess of sarcasm. And a little early for some of these jokes. Hey, they can't all be winners, ladies and gentlemen. But now, of course, I'm reading, I like reading self-help books, personal growth books, things of that nature. For example, I've got this issue. I struggle to be assertive when I need to be. So I'm reading a book now about how to be more assertive, if that's okay with you. And nowadays, of course, even reading a book is high-tech. People downloading e-books wirelessly to their iPads. And whatever happened to good old-fashioned reading your Kindle? My wife and I did recently. I recommend this to all the couples out there. When the weekend rolled around, we shut down our laptops and our devices, put them away out of view, and spent the entire weekend surfing the internet on our laptops. Felt like 2009 again. It really did. My wife and I were reading the Kama Sutra recently. That thing is complicated, boy. We had to call Bombay just to get technical support, for crying out loud. Thank God for speakerphone. I performed on a nude cruise a couple weeks ago. This is amazing. All the passengers naked everywhere at all times. In the audience, in the casino. I don't even know where they put their winnings. But I'll say this much for the nude cruise, ladies and gentlemen. It teaches you to make eye contact. In some ways, it was like any other cruise. For example, they had pool games like water volleyball, the belly flop contest. The ring toss is not what I had expected, but that's another story. Okay, we actually, Nikki, I think we're going to switch over here. We're going to switch lights here. Can you hear me okay? All right. Fantastic. Oh, wonderful. So, all right. How about a round of applause for all the entertainers you've seen so far? Mike did some amazing magic. I'm a juggler, not a magician. Juggling, of course, is like magic, but without, the girlfriend and all that other stuff. Mickey, you may want to turn it down a little bit. It's a little ringy. All right, I tell you what. I'm going to perform maybe a little more. I'll just project some. I'm going to perform a magic trick, and then I'm going to teach you how to do it. How does that sound? Okay. Even a tad more. Just a tad more. Thank you.
Amazing.
What's that?
Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you, sir. The sober heckler, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice heckler. That's better than you suck! All right, this is called the vanishing cracker. Now, I don't know if you know this, but with the word magic, you quickly learn that you have a magical hand and a less magical hand. One may be right-handed or left-handed. In magic, one has a magic hand and a less magical hand. So if I place this cracker in my right hand, reach into my pocket, cover it with magic pixie dust, you'll see that nothing much happens. It's not my magic hand. Or if I put the cracker in my left hand and reach in my pocket and grab some magic pixie dust, and it vanishes. All right, I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. You pick out any pattern you like, but what you do is place the cracker rather, in your right hand, reach in your pocket, grab some magic pixie dust, sprinkle it, show that the cracker is still there. But when you place the cracker in your left hand, you don't really do so. You just kind of keep it cold there. So you pretend to put the cracker in the hand, reach in your pocket. This is actually not magic pixie dust. It's the cracker. The problem is it doesn't always work. So. I don't know if you folks are aware, but the LA Times now has an offline edition which can be delivered to your home. And, everybody talks about the front page news, but if you look deeper in the paper, you see more interesting stories. Something from California. Let me see. Initiative overturning state forgery laws receives 9 trillion signatures. A lot of grisly crime stories. Conjoined twins charged with murder to be tried separately. Woman stabs husband to death during argument over gun control. Judge postpones lethal injection until inmate receives booster injection. You got a lot of personal profiles. A lot of them are pretty inspiring. Aging chiropractor still turns heads. Postmaster General started in mailroom. That's cool. It was a very LA story. Elderly woman, let me see. Elderly woman gives up seat on bus for pregnant man. Let's see here. Woman completely satisfied. It's fake news.